Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars action figure review. Today we're going to take a look at another figure from the Black Series 6-inch line, and with the return of the Clone Wars being pretty fresh in everyone's mind at the minute, I thought we'd take a look at a figure from the Clone Wars animated series in today's review, and it is of course none other than Clone Commander Fox. Now this is a recent GameStop exclusive. He was released shortly following Triple Force Friday at the end of last year, and because he's a couple of months old now, I'm not entirely sure how readily available he's going to be at GameStop stores, at least in the US. Here in the UK, if you want to head down to the link in the video description, that as always will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk, and at the time of filming this review he is in stock now and available to buy. So if you do get an opportunity to add this figure to your collection, I highly recommend you do so because he's a very cool figure. Being a clone trooper, he obviously recycles parts from previously released figures, gives them a fresh lick of paint, and just all round looks fantastic, and I am really happy that I was able to get my hands on this guy. So before we jump into the review itself, as always we are going to take a look at the packaging that he comes in, and once again we do get standard Black Series packaging with this figure. Got a really nice image of Commander Fox down in the bottom corner. On the side you'll notice there is no number in the series, as this is once again an exclusive figure. And then on the back we do have a brief description of the character, accompanied by that portrait image, once again illustrated beautifully by Gregory Titus. So standard stuff in terms of packaging, once again nothing we haven't already seen in the line, but very cool nonetheless. So with packaging aside, let's take a look at the figure itself, and once again this is a very cool addition. I am a huge fan of Clone Troopers. If you've been following my channel for any period of time then you already know this, and Clone Commander Fox is a particular favourite of mine. This figure obviously, as you can see, depicts Commander Fox in his Phase 2 armour. Personally, I prefer his Phase 1 armour that we saw in the Clone Wars animated movie and in the early stages of the Clone Wars series. But this figure takes the Phase 2 look that we saw towards the end of the initial Clone Wars run during that controversial series of episodes with Ahsoka Tano, and brings it to life in action figure form. I absolutely love this figure though. I think it looks fantastic. The red paint on this guy just makes him pop. He looks absolutely stunning, and the paint job and the overall sculpt is really nicely done, and there's not a whole lot I don't like about this figure. Now in terms of accessories, he does come with your standard Clone Trooper assortment of weapons. He comes with a large DC-15 blaster rifle, which is very nicely weathered. As you can see there's some nice silver brushing on there. He also comes with the DC-15S carbine pistol, which again very nicely weathered, and he does feature two blaster pistols stored in his holster. As you can see they store in there very nicely and are sculpted really well. It's always a nice addition. The helmet is non-removable, and it is the same helmet with a fresh lick of paint that was included on the Clone Commander Cody figure from very early on in the Black Series 6-inch line. But again, a fresh look of paint, particularly with clones and stormtroopers, goes a really long way. So Commander Fox is obviously the leader of the Coruscant Guard. That is apparent in the red shock trooper colours, and he also has the Coruscant emblem on his shoulder plate there, which is really nicely applied. And once again that helmet sculpt is really cool. Now in terms of articulation, this is one of the areas where this figure falls a little bit short. Clone Trooper articulation in the Black Series is notorious for being somewhat limited, particularly in the elbows, and we'll touch base on that in just a moment. But in terms of the rest of the figure, he is nicely poseable. We get a ball joint at the head, although it's more of a swivel. There's not a whole range of movement going on there, and once again I should reiterate the helmet is non-removable. But yeah, you only get a slight bobble on the head there, but it does turn from side to side. We have hinges at the shoulders, although again that articulation is slightly limited due to the shoulder plates. I'm not entirely sure, in fact no they're not. Usually we get soft shoulder plates with troopers that allow the elbow, or the shoulder rather, to move all the way up, but unfortunately this one doesn't, so that's about as much as you're going to get in terms of shoulder articulation. We do have a swivel at the bicep. There are hinges at the elbows, but again, the armour gets in the way and hinders that articulation, so you can't really get a great range of movement there. We have hinges at the elbows, a nice fluid ball joint at the torso, hinges at the hips, which are not hindered at all because obviously the camer there is soft goods, not plastic. We also have swivels at the upper thigh, double joints in the knees, and a hinge and a rocker at the ankle. So reasonable articulation. Again, it is hindered somewhat, particularly in the upper body, but for the most part it's pretty spot on. He doesn't have any issues holding the blasters, which is fine. As you can see, he holds those weapons pretty well. But it just would be nice if you just got those extra elements of posability, particularly in the arms. It was really nice that Hasbro went back and revisited the First Order Stormtroopers and upgraded their articulation. So hopefully somewhere down the line, they may have already done it with a figure that I haven't picked up yet, but hopefully somewhere down the line Hasbro revisit the clones and just give them a little bit of added articulation. Now, in addition to the overall colour scheme, this figure has some really nicely applied paint details. We've got weathering on this figure on the chest, as you can see, some nice dirt scuffs there, on the shoulders, on the helmet as well, which is nice. Even got dirt on the red bits of paint, which is really cool. Again, weathering down below there, on the legs. Just a really nicely decorated and well executed figure. Very, very impressed with this one, and again, he is more than a worthy addition to the Black Series line. So I'm going to be displaying this figure alongside Captain Rex, Commander Cody, and all my other clone commanders. And since the Clone Wars is quite prevalent in Star Wars fan culture at the moment with the return of Season 7, I will be giving you a look at another figure from the Clone Wars line in my next review. It's an older Black Series 6-inch figure, but a very cool one nonetheless. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. And until next time, as always, I'd like to thank you for watching this review. And until my next video, as always, keep collecting and may the Force be with you.